light-skinned native, bringing these hits way past the basics. Yeah, I fell but got back up, letting my light shine in your faces. I was low as it goes, so troubled as you know. I was been so close to broke, but I dug myself up out that hole. Ooh, I know they gon' hate this, so I know they won't mistake this. Listen up, you couldn't break this, I'm gon' be the best forever. Don't got no time for questions, you just learn it like a lesson. If you got a hateful message when you dissing me, address it. I treat this like a hobby, but I'm more legit. You're taking shots, but taking losses, cause I'm more equipped.
Good Tohono O'odham Nation, welcome to a brand new year, 2019. Fortunately got a late start, but hoping the new year is going well, and had a bit of challenges from the beginning. But this is our first show, and for today's show, I thought we'd start off with a human interest story that I'll be interviewing two young adults today, and I'm sure some of our viewers may know them, but welcome those that have been viewing our shows, and hopefully we have some new viewers, and hopefully you're sharing those videos. But hopefully your new year's going well again, and but we're certainly hoping to bring you as we move along more information, some important information, but also some things that are going on around us and on the nation, and particularly in housing. Again, we'll be bringing some information in regards to housing, but also we're looking at probably some information that I ran into an individual as far as Social Security. Not only involves when you reach a certain age, but even younger. So we're looking forward to those interviews, but also economic development. So hopefully having some people come and talk about economic development in CDFI. But in saying that, I want to introduce you to the two young adults that are with us. To my left, we have David Mendoza. He is from Guachi District, and also we have Lena Toro, and she's from South Jersey. So I met these two young adults probably 7 or 8 years ago. I used to go to rec center a lot, and they would come in, and they're in a performance arts, music and arts. I love the music and I love the arts. Part of the arts is dancing. So that caught my attention when they came in. I was working out, and they were trying to get in front of the mirror and have some time looking at their dance steps. And so at that time, I started a dialogue with David. Then he started talking about some things that are involved, and at that time, I offered some financial assistance to them, and they were looking at buying some T-shirts. I forget, David, what you were going to be entering at that time.
We were just at that time, we were basically just trying to get out there. We were going to different communities, and they were having events, and I swear we were like kind of begging them. We were trying to get out there, and that was as far. We were just like locally here,
right,
and trying to let everybody see what we were doing. Definitely.
Yeah. So I got in touch with a guy that makes T-shirts and design. David gave me a design, and that was in their younger stages. So we kind of talked about it. I had a conversation with them yesterday. They were kind of reflecting on that, and they recall it was a bomb squad, and we kind of laughed about it. But that was back then, and I was trying to look for the T-shirt. They had given me a T-shirt out of that punch, and how that design looked. But I told David, at least it was start for them and where they're at now. So, but there's still much involved, and I kind of lost track of them, but I ran into David again, and surprisingly they're still doing it, and they're still, because it involves mentoring as well, and we'll touch on that, how dancing and what they're doing, both of them, and what Lana was doing back then as far as working with the youth at the rec center. So, but let me ask you guys both, how did you get interested as far as dancing? Or what was it called back then? I know there was hip hop dancing and things like that. What was it called back then?
Actually, the one, so you know the Honey movie? It's like an old movie, and I always used to watch that, and I was always interested. And then in the settings, there was like a dance tutorial, so I would do it like when nobody was home or nobody was watching, and it was just kind of like nobody knew about it, and that's just how I started out. And then after that, I just finally, after promotion and after promoted in 8th grade, I started doing videos, and then everybody was like, oh, she's into this, and it's cool, you know, and everything. And then I started teaching at the rec, started teaching the kids, and got involved with some of the parents. Because I was really young, I was like 14 to teach them. I started trying to come up with routines and just barely starting out, so we're self-taught. I met David at middle school, and I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to help me? And he was kind of like iffy at first, because he was like, I didn't know he was interested. I just asked him. And then from then on, he came aboard and he started helping me, and then that's when, kind of then was when we met you.
It sounded like when you were, you watched this on TV. And
Yeah,
that's piqued your interest.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
Chris Brown and just like the Michael Jackson. We used to watch the videos and stuff.
Okay. By just watching that, you just picked up on dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that kind of progressed where you did videos.
Yeah.
You did videos.
Yeah,
That's
I did.
interesting. Did you post them?
Yeah, I did. Then a few years, like maybe 2 years later, I deleted them because they're embarrassing for me.
So David, when she asked you as far as dancing, where were you at that? I mean, were you interested, or you?
I was very interested. I think the way everything went, I mean, it goes as far as what she said, and like she says, talks about, you know, Chris Brown and these movies that are very entertaining, and they're involving dance. For myself, I always liked dancing. I just was never. I feel like I couldn't do it. I was scared, but after her asking me to help, it was more like she was like telling me what to do, and then I was just doing it. I was going along with what she was doing with that, and I think I felt a little comfortable knowing that somebody else was doing it with me. Definitely. So then I picked it up pretty fast, actually. You know, as soon as I helped her out, we had at least 2 kids back then, just 2. And they were younger, like 8. By then, we got into this Halloween thing back when Toka used to be there. They were having this open mic kind of thing. We got into it. That was our first performance. Now that's the same day we actually got into halftime for the Jugos halftime for the men.
But that was just you two.
No,
No.
this was including.
It was the 2.
Yeah.
So you had a dance crew. I know you guys started by yourself. Well, initially the first time it was just you two, or was there somebody else?
Well, the first times, we were just like videos alone. Then when we finally got to performance time, like
Yeah, we had been already teaching them, so we just decided to kind of throw them in there with us. It turned out to be okay. And then we look back on that video, and it's very cringy. You know, we look back and we're like, oh my lord. But it was definitely cool. You know, it's something to definitely look back on.
When I think of dancing, you have an instructor who teaches you, but you're self-taught.
Yeah.
So did you water a lot? I know you had developed some of your own dances and watching also movies and the videos. So you incorporated those and made up your own dances, or?
Inspiration, more of not really taking their dances, but getting the like encouragement from it and the inspiration to do our own thing.
Definitely getting an idea. And I think YouTube was a big thing.
Right.
Back then we were just like watching videos, and we were kind of staying up to date with everything. So when like there was like dances and stuff like that, we were like, oh nice. And then TV shows, they started doing, you know, ABDC. Now they're doing like Royal Dance and like, because we were so involved with YouTube and I was watching videos of these YouTubers or dancers. When they came onto these shows, we were like, oh hey, you know, we heard that these guys can be on that show, and we just got more involved that way. So we were always like trying to watch TV, like trying to watch the dance shows on TV.
Right. So, so I know you guys both graduated in 2015 from Hashem.
Yeah.
But you weren't a couple then, were you? I mean, when you say you were in grade school.
Yeah.
When you asked him, you weren't a couple.
Not really yet. We were just friends.
We were just really good friends.
Yeah. But we did get together like sometime that year. So we
will tell that story, but
yeah.
But, okay, let's say, but now you're a couple, so
definitely.
But with the same interest, which is great. But at that initial, when you asked him, we were just both friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was more involved with just sports, and I think she was doing the dancing at that time. I was just playing.
Well, let me ask you this, David. I know that, I mean, obviously, you know, with the women, it's more natural to see somebody dancing as far as a woman, but in men, I guess my generation, it's kind of like, did you feel any way as far as being an awesome young man and dancing, and how you would be, did you feel anyway?
I honestly, yeah, I think that's why I kind of didn't start it myself. I didn't really take the time to do it. I mean, I catch on pretty fast to it, and I adapted to it. But I think when I was my own time, before, you know, I helped her out, I was scared. Even for my family, I was like, I was scared they were gonna judge me and, you know, laugh at me or whatever it may be, even friends. But I was scared until I finally started helping her out, and like I said, I felt comfortable that somebody else was doing it inside of me, other than me just doing it by myself.
Mm-hmm. So Lana, you when you started, then you mentioned that you started teaching at the rec center.
Yeah.
So, but that was before you met David.
No, I didn't do it before. We had already met in middle school. We didn't really talk to each other. He was new to the school and just seen him around, and we had mutual friends.
Maybe I'll stuck up.
There you go.
But you were working, or you were teaching at the rec center.
Yeah, but during that time, that's when we finally first started talking, and then we became close. So then I just asked him. I took it into my own hands because I have a heart condition, and my mom was really strict and really conscious of what I did. So I always wanted to play sports. I played volleyball and basketball, but I couldn't be with the school because of my physical. So the fact that dancing came about, she was worried about that too, because there's a lot of movement.
Obviously.
So after that, I thought, well, maybe if I just do this on my own time, I can set the limit for myself than having to move at everybody else's pace. With basketball and volleyball, you have to move at their pace. And if I just did this on my own, then I could definitely do this at my own pace and stop when I started to feel sick.
Has that gotten any better? Or?
Yeah,
It's really up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, just 2 years ago, she had surgery.
No, it's
But I mean, I think before the surgery, her battery was running out for defibrillator.
Right.
And I don't know if that was the effect to her health, but it seemed like she was getting more sick, and it was just she was really weak. By the surgery, she was, healing up, and at the same time, she was just trying to get back into dancing. And we were still doing it, but, we kind of took a little break just for that.
Well, I mean, I guess that says a lot as far as that you knew you had that medical condition, but still you love dancing and you wanted to continue. And with your art today, still dancing and still have interest, even if you are, have this medical condition, which says a lot as far as loving somebody. I mean, loving something that you want to do and take an interest. as far as where you guys were then and where you moved fast moving forward for 2019 after you graduated, so what happened after that? I mean, after you graduated, and as far as dancing, where did you take that?
We'll see, back then we didn't know how much, because kids will see us around. And actually the end of our high school year, we actually started an after school program, and on our own time, and it was because we wanted to. We ended up going and asking the school if we could do it, and basically we got an after school program, and we got to at least 16, right?
No, that was a group of kids.
It was a lot, honestly. It was 9th through 12th, and we got a lot of kids involved. And but then, like that, we took it as far as asking them, like, hey, you guys want to perform, And we were pretty used to, getting after those years going by. We were pretty used to like performing and knowing how to get involved in somewhere to perform. So we were like, yeah. They're like, yeah. So they all said yeah, and basically that's when my mom came in, where she was a big help, because the school couldn't provide a bus for us, no transportation at all.
So you didn't try to ask the rec center for a van or anything?
No. And my mom actually had a truck. Well, she still does, and she would get as many kids as possible, and we would fit into a truck, go to performances. And somewhere in Tucson, so they didn't really get to be involved a lot because we stayed like around here. But I think most of them, we pretty much got them to perform, and it was nice. It was really nice.
And we did the Miss Teal pageant.
Miss Teal pageant. We had done a lot. I mean, like, I don't know, it'd be hard to say everything that we had done.
So you kind of mentioned that your mom helped you as far as transportation. To me, those years as far as doing after-school programs and working with the school, what were some of the challenges that you faced as trying to get? To me, it's not like we talked, and part of that is your mentoring for teaching other kids, and but did you guys, what kind of challenges that as far as getting buy-in from let's say the school or using a building? Was that challenging?
We probably transportation, and then money to be able to feed everybody. Like when we went to performances, everybody would try to pitch in as much as they could. Not only that, gas money, and then we actually, during high school, we didn't have any uniforms, like our name or like a name for us.
Right.
We just tried to match colors, that was about it.
I recall you did your own costume. Did you do your own dance? Maybe with somebody different. Did your own, you had a dance troupe and did your own
Outfits?
Right.
Not really. I think if we didn't have the shirts or anything, we were just mainly like matching. I don't know. Yeah, we were just.
I thought, maybe it was somebody else, but I'm sorry. Okay, so some of the challenges were. Yeah,
the transportation, like the school was really letting us do that after school to use one of the rooms. But we weren't really under the school because we went and did, we transported ourselves.
So it wasn't about like, if they didn't have good grades or whatever it may be, but we weren't with the school. We just had asked the school if we could do it, and they were open to the idea. And it was cool. It was.
Was it the principal or?
Yes, definitely.
The director.
Yeah, and which school was that?
Hashem Prep.
Okay, so you never did it down here other than the rec center.
So after graduation, a few of the kids actually stuck with us. And we still went about different places and performing, and they stick with us for a while until things kind of got bad in that, and
Right.
we kind of just separated.
Right.
But yeah.
Then we went to, we met, what is this, Fred, I don't know his last name. He did the nutrition at Fascists.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we went.
there's a story to that too, because
Well, yeah, I know you guys used to practice there, right?
Yeah, we met him. Well, we just had, my mom was like, you guys want to go check what's in there? So we're like, sure. So we went in there.
okay, hold on. Before we went in there, okay, so we got out of school, and our plan was to go and do business. And we were gonna, try to get a building, go to CFI and see if we can get a loan, and and we thought we got out of school thinking it was gonna be so easy. We went to CFI, we took some classes there, and we noticed that things were just hard. We were like, wow, we didn't expect it to be hard, and I think we just thought they were just gonna give it to us, and it was gonna be it was hard, but we actually met Fred there, and after that class we never went back. We never did anything after that, and we were still doing our thing like wherever we could, and then
we ran into him and we were like, isn't that the same guy that we had the class with?
yeah, so he was like,
Yeah, he started talking to us.
he was like, so did you guys get your business started? Because they actually were in the same class for business, for trying to start that up, trying to get a loan. And I'm glad that he got it started. That was cool. And he was like, yes sir, welcome to do it here.
Yeah, he was really generous. He was
Definitely.
really interested too. So he was like, yeah, you guys want to use the space, there was a little area. So we had that, then we started classes. We only had 2 kids the first time. From then on it started building up. It was good. It went for a while, and then the place started having, competitions. So we weren't able to continue there anymore.
So tell me about that as far as, okay, so you actually had a building to teach kids. What were the ranges of kids there?
I think our most was probably like 10 maybe, and it was crazy just fitting everybody in there. It was little and it was crazy, but we actually got a lot of kids in there. One actually being an adult older than us actually came and tried it out, so we were really surprised.
Yeah,
She came by, and I honestly don't know her name. I think we still see her around, but she came by and she was very interested, and we were like, wow, we never really taught anybody older than us. It was just always the youth. But definitely I was really amazed that she was interested.
We thought she was just a parent like coming in, and then she was standing there. We were like, oh, you're here to class, and she was like, yeah. It was really fun for her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have videos from all our classes from back then.
So what were some of the, as far as the kids that came, did you see, obviously you went there for a reason, to try to dance, but did you see other reasons why they were there?
I think they were interested. A lot of kids actually, kids are open-minded and will say a lot to you. So some of the kids would talk to us about issues that they were having. And
So they became an outlet for them as far as whatever challenges they had at home. They would talk to you guys.
Yeah, they came and they were smiling. So to us, seeing them smile was thinking everything was okay, but really it was because of them being there to be able to let everything out while dancing.
Yeah. So in saying that, so you think that them doing this kind of relieved some of that, or just forgot about it, and that's what I mean about the mentor side of it. That you guys were almost maybe perhaps at the same, aside from one individual, at the same level of age and having that understanding, they'd probably be more open to if I came in and scared being an older adult and then talking to me. It seemed like it'd be easier talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised by that? Would they open up to you?
Let's see, even like,
We always been pretty talkative, especially to kids. There's a lot of kids that see us around today, and me being at my work where it's really open and everybody comes in, I talk to a lot of kids, and even kids that I don't even know their names. They're just like they say hello, and they're just really open, like hey, and they say my name. I'm like hey, like I don't know them, but I'm like yeah, how you guys doing? Like just still talk to them like I know them, definitely. But I think that's just how kids are. They're just open. They have they're just I don't know. They think they're more involved at that with the whole dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
yeah, well, like with me, like they see him and they know who I am, but they don't know my name because my
Yeah.
name's kind of like unoriginal, I guess.
Right.
So a lot of people
Hard
have,
for me to say.
yeah, a lot of people have problems with my name.
Yeah. So
a lot
like
of
if
people.
kids see us around, they always say my name, like hi, and they'll say my name, and
then they'll get my attention. They'll call his name, so I'm like, no.
Well, let's touch on that as far as mentoring. So I know in our start of our conversation that recently, well, you participated in the parade this year.
Yes.
And you had received an award. And well, tell us about your awards that you received through the years. And of course, you did the halftime events at Jugo's games and other things, and being exposed to more people and probably out there as well.
Actually, it's amazing, actually, because when we first started it, we were kind of invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And then after our high school, we started with the kids, and then it led on to now. We've always done the halftime show for the Jugos, and
the Jugos was actually our second performance out of all the performances we did. Mm-hmm. And they always was like, we were always trying to get into it. And so like, being that it was our second performance, throughout the years, mm-hmm. we were always doing it. It was
always during the rodeo fair weekend.
Yeah.
That was the main time we did it. But honestly, I can say nothing really on paper as recognition, but just being out in public and people like recognizing us, like, oh, it's really good what you guys are doing. Like, I like what you guys are doing, And it's really amazing because we're trying to help the youth, stay out of the alcohol and the drugs and the games. The fact that they would come to practice is keeping them away from that, and them going home and then going to meet their friends and do things, or even by themselves.
So let's touch on that as far as alcohol and drug abuse and some of these. And again, we talked about it briefly that you both don't drink. You guys don't allow any profanity coming from some of your students that you have or working with kids. So you try to be mentors in that way as far as because I know you guys have your own social challenges growing up, and so you're becoming a mentor, like you were saying. People recognize you and recognize a lot of those you don't know her name, but your name, David. But which I think says a lot as far as politicians and other things trying to figure out, well, how do we work with the kids and how do we deal with these social problems, alcohol, finishing high school, or even doing the middle school or kindergarten or beginners, those kind of that stage. And it would seem that you guys are involved with a lot of kids, but a lot of people don't know that. And that's what I found interesting to share this with our viewers, that here are some from young O'odham adults in their mid-20s are using dancing as a way to communicate for the kids that they're working with as an outlet, even using some of their own funding to transport like you were Dave saying, as far as using his mother's vehicle, as far as mentoring, let's talk about that. So what do you think about, I mean, as far as alcohol and things like that, and at this day and age, you think it's a problem?
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
I think the kids know that we try to put out that image for ourselves so that we can be role models to them. Is that some of them will be actually scared to say things in front of us, like about alcohol or drugs, and I think it's good, but then again, I don't want them to think that, to be scared to tell us anything so that we can help them if they need help. I do think it's a really bad problem, and I do say a lot that I wish a lot of people had a better mindset to help the youth. A lot of kids come from families that drink in front of them and abuse drugs and just all of that, and it really bothers me, like, to see that, like what we just talked about, like, to someday to have kids that we're not going to be those people. I mean, it's just,
But I think that both of us definitely grew up around it. You know, we know how it is, and just knowing how alone you could feel, definitely. When people are drinking and they're not in their right minds and they're going crazy, and you have to just watch. You know, you're too young to say anything. And I think that when you're young and people are drinking, you know, sometimes they don't care about you. All they care about is that next drink. And I think just growing up around it, you know, that's definitely not what we want, especially for any kids. We like to help the kids a lot to, like, where, like, yeah, just let us know, you know, we're here for you guys, you know, call us of anything. And they basically have our social media, they have our numbers. They don't call us too much, you know, so we're glad that they're okay. At least we hope that they're okay. But definitely we're always try to be an open hand to them. Yeah, even on our own time. I think a lot of what we do is our own time. But even if we're at home and we're not practicing that day, we still wouldn't mind if they had send us a message or a call to just, you know, talk to us.
Well, that's good. I mean, for you two, because I know you mentioned that some parents still look at you as kids, but you're not kids. You're responsible young adults in their mid-20s. But as Autumn, sometimes we tend to look at, if you're not in your 30s or 40s, you're even at 20, you're still a kid. But you're not, because you're responsible adults. Obviously, you're both working, which is great, and you're spending your own time mentoring these kids and continuing what you guys started from the beginning when you were in grade school or middle school, and continuing that. But let me touch on something that is maybe it's a combination of alcohol and a combination of drugs, but let me touch on suicide, because I have known some youth that have committed suicide, but you touched on something, or you both touched on something, as far as that these kids open up to you. And do you think sometimes that kind of touches on that, as far as that? Have you ever been confronted by that during those years?
I don't
really. I think as far as that, like going that far, the only thing is that we heard it from a parent after we went to Tucson, and we stayed in Tucson for a while, and then we came back, and the parent was like, you know, asking us, when are we going to start this again? Because her daughter is having trouble, you know, she's going through a depression, and you know, just leading to that, you know, trying to hurt herself. And we were like, yeah, you know, we were so worried, you know, we didn't know that things were going to go bad after we left, but you know, she's still good. She's a really good girl. Definitely, she's happy, and But I think part of her depression gets her down sometimes, definitely. When stuff start to get hard on her.
Yeah, we had there was a situation that happened between one of the individuals where almost were led to that. And we were just kind of we were just kind of shocked. We were like, why?
Yeah, like what's the reason? You know, we were so worried, but didn't want to ask too many questions, and we didn't want to be nosy about it, but we wanted to help in a way and figure out why. But you know, I don't think we fully got the right answer, an answer for that. But you know, we're still willing to help. Definitely.
We had a conversation with the group like after. I always say I've never experienced depression, so I don't know what it's like.
Right.
I don't know what it feels like, and I always talk to the group, and I'm like, if something is wrong, if you're about to do something, call us. You know, no matter what time it is or day, it is call us if you feel like you're gonna go in that direction, then call us.
Right, and I think that says a lot as far as that, again, going back to that, so when you guys moved to Tucson, obviously that shows that kids were, or young kids, or perhaps even older kids were where did they go? It was something less.
Something, yeah, it was just an everyday thing, and then it just stops all of a sudden, and they're like, well, what do we do? You know?
Yeah, they were messages when we were Tucson, when are we gonna start again? And, we couldn't do it because we were up there and we had no vehicle.
At the time we didn't have a vehicle. She was working up there, so it was we really didn't have the time at all. But after we came back, we started up again, and luckily the kids, they were so used to it that when we started, we were wow, we're so surprised that they still got it,
Right.
We were really
They're
surprised.
a little rusty, but they came back.
Yeah.
It was good, and then we started adding more kids, and now there's 16 of us. And it's you were saying about the recognition and the what people, I guess not really people, but the trophies
Right.
just hearing that we've definitely grown. A lot of people know who we are. It's always good to hear there's people will be you guys really know how to bring a crowd. They hear your name and the crowd comes, and that's really good to hear. And not only that, it's to be able to have the kids come up to us and be this person recognized me from dancing.
Yeah, well, I guess that would say a lot for you guys as far as you two, moving to Tucson and being missed by a certain group that you made an impression on. Did you guys kind of think about that as far as, maybe we should go back to South because it seems
Yeah. We
we're
definitely
making some
missed it.
impact.
We missed it. We missed the kids, and we just had that connection with them, definitely. Especially the ones that's been with us for some years now. It's crazy that they're still interested, because there's some kids that try it out and then they're okay, it's not their thing. They tried it out and then we don't see them again. But we'll see them around and then we'll just talk to them. We don't really bring it up to their attention because we don't want to make them seem like they just left us, or that we feel some way. So we're oh yeah, we just bring up different subjects about them and talk to them if they weren't in it, but still trying to conversate with them. I think I wanted to say so you talked about trophies, and we never really got any trophies for this at all. While we're doing this for all these years of doing it, we did the Judas halftime. We never got nothing for that. When we would do stuff for the different places, we would get a basket full of sweets and stuff like that.
That's always good.
It was, and we were yeah, whatever you guys can give us. And people called us and they were hey, you guys, how much would you guys charge for this? And we were always like, whatever you can help with. And sometimes it was just that, like a basket full of stuff.
Well, let me kind of stop you there, because I want to talk about what you mentioned gifts and that. So let's talk about the business side of this. I know you guys are, do quinceañeras now that we're out and we're getting to quinceañeras, not Hispanic, but we're getting to that. And you guys do that as well. So, and of course you went to CDFI, did the course and trying to get along. So tell me about the business side of this, of your dance and what you're
So, I know one thing you talked to us about was goals, and how you should set goals to stuff, and if you fail, then, try it again or try something else. We never set any of these goals. We never said we were going to do this. We said we were going to get out to, like California. I think that was one thing we talked about, but, we're not really focusing on that. We're not trying to save money to go that way. We're just focusing in the area and, just the places around here that are some miles away, but not too far.
In the beginning, when we got out of high school, we were charging for classes. I think we were doing like $5 a class, but then some of the kids weren't able to, so they would just come and take the class, like it was fine. It was just to kind of benefit us in a way. But after that, we continue with the kids, and we don't charge for anything that we do. Like working with the kids wise is all volunteer.
Right.
The only thing that we charge for is the 2 choreographed quinceañeras and sweet 16s, like their surprise dance and their waltz dances.
Well, I think that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the only part that we really charge for.
Yeah, I think, that is the business side. That actually started last year, the beginning of last year, and somebody had asked us, and we were like, it was our first one, so like people that first came to us and we were like, they're not being serious, they're just messing up their heads. They want to make conversation with us, and we're like, we didn't take it too serious, so like we kind of just blew it off, and then they kept coming and asking us, and we were like, well, when can you guys do it? And we're like, oh, okay, they're serious. Wow. Let's definitely set a date. And they set up the practices. They got the building. They were bringing snacks and stuff for the kids, so we didn't have to worry about anything. But at least getting there, getting the whole mix done, the whole choreograph and the waltz. And we were 5 months, right? Our first one.
5 months. Yeah.
So we did that pretty good.
And right after that, somebody heard about this, because that was our first one, so somebody heard about that one, so they asked if we could do theirs, and theirs was in 2 weeks. So we had 2 weeks to do theirs, and then we still had the other one going. So we were kind of trying to manage our time with them and then manage the time with our kids. After the 2, we ended up doing another one within 3 months. And now we're doing one now that's for June. And then there's people that will come and be like, hey, can you do ours? And it's just like the matter of really setting the dates and the times of when to start and how often you want to do it.
So it's kind of by word of mouth that what you're doing as far as the quinceañeras.
Yeah, more so, I would say. People always told us to try to get somebody like a
manager.
To do so, but it does get hard. The choreographing and doing the mixes, it's not easy. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Especially if we gotta worry about the sweet 16, and then we gotta worry about our kids because we gotta do 2 different choreographs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people think. Like when they see this out there, it's kind of like, this minute routine was pretty easy, but it's not.
It's not, especially if you're not trying to make somebody else's look okay, if we do a sweet 16 and then we do another one, we don't want them to be like, oh, they use the same routine, It's not a show if you know what's going on. We try to make it a surprise every time, and we try to make it look good, definitely, and something new that people are gonna be like, oh, nice, that is pretty cool. we always try to make it look interesting. We always try to, like you said, we always try to get a crowd all the time, you know. Not everybody's involved with this, but the ones that are get really hyped about it.
Right, so a 1 minute choreography is, well, look at it and say, well, that's easy. But in fact, it's hard as far as learning more dance steps and things like that. Are you still watching a lot of YouTube and things like that?
Yeah, we really, like I said, we try to stay up to date to everything. And it's not really necessarily trying to copy what they do, but it's more of getting an idea. But a lot of like, you know, stuff that are like on social media, YouTube, or even stuff we see with just our own eyes, you know, is really interesting. It gives us another idea of something, where to go on stuff, and especially with music too. Music always changes every year, and we even go back to like real like early 2000s, and you know, try to bring in some old songs, and some of the kids are like, you know, who's this? They don't know what's going on because they didn't really grow up around it. But yeah, it's like even we go as far as like 1990, not too far back, but more like when like old hip hop.
Wait, did I tell you 1970 then?
No, that's too far. I think
that's disco era.
Yeah, we were like 1999 and 94, stuff around there.
The kids are like, well, that's too old, 90s.
Yeah, I know, like, you know, like, what is it, like 2000, the 2000s is like, what, 18 now? So like, we're not working with a lot of 18, we're working with a lot of like 12 years old to like 16. So they don't really know too much. I mean, they probably hear from a lot of their parents or people that they're around, but you know, some of them don't know who.
I see your point as far as kids say, well, born in like 2003, 4. So, where's that come from?
So there's this old Missy Elliott song, and we actually did one of her songs, and then one of the kids was like, "Is this that song from the commercial?" And we were like, "Oh, you know, they don't know who Missy Elliott is, but they seen it, the song of the commercial." So they assumed that it was a commercial song. We're like, you don't know what that is? But it was hilarious. We started laughing, we just laughed about it, but she got kind of embarrassed, but it was okay.
So it sounds like, well, definitely that you guys do a lot of mentoring, you know, for the kids. You guys are still pretty much involved with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, from the beginning you were, I mean, but also you understand, and some of the challenges, like you mentioned, you guys grew up in that kind of social environment with alcohol abuse, particular alcohol abuse, and of course drugs, but of course, you know, we all know somebody probably committed suicide. So that's something that you're have confronted on occasion, but you're aware of it as well. That's one of the things too.
Yes.
And but through dance for both of you, and I think for viewers is that you know, you see these on TV dancing, things like that, but I think what's unique about these two young people is that they you know, where they were when they were teenagers or in middle school, that they've continued to do this, but has become a part of the community as far as being mentors for the kids. And it seems you guys love kids.
Yes, definitely.
You know, that's always been echoed, at least in my position of, well, helping the kids and things like that, and those kind of challenges. But through dance, you know, it seems to be another avenue another outlet for kids' involvement. Like you said, like you guys mentioned that you moved to Tucson and there was this gap. Oh man, what do I do now? Where did they go, you know? You know what I do? Yeah, we have the rec center and this, but it seemed like this was a part of something that they really liked or different.
Yes.
You know, what you guys are offering. think that's great, and I think a lot of our viewers and hopefully some people that don't know you will see this interview and say, wow, these are young adults doing something for their kids, but yet they don't, or don't publicize themselves. They just go out. You guys just go out and do it.
Yeah.
And particularly with you, Lana, at your medical condition, you still want to go out there and dance. You guys were in the what is it, the parade?
Yeah, we always get hyped about the holidays because that's when all the events, we get really excited about
we do
those.
like, stuff for the Christmas events, Halloween. Actually, just last year, December of 2018, we did the light parade. There you go.
Right.
And that was pretty cool. We got second place, and we didn't really get no trophy, but we got second place, and we were like, oh, cool. We weren't trying to place, but we
really don't try to place. We just try to get the kids out there,
So
to do something.
Just this year, we did the rodeo fair, and we got first place for that. And we finally, through all these years, finally got a trophy for something that we did.
It was actually pretty cool to see.
We were all holding it wow, it's awesome. But
They should have had you bring your trophy.
that would have been nice. That would have been nice. But
But yeah, then we did the Mojo parade, which was good. It was fun.
So we try to do something every year. Like I said, just starting last year December, which is the ending of the year. We finally got into parades. We never really did parades. We were just always watching, and we always thought about it. It was a thought, but I think it was just a step that we had to take, and just finally doing it. One of the parents was actually one of that was really helping us out, trying to help us out with the paperwork and everything, because we didn't really know anything about how to go in about the parades. But she was a good help, and she still is. We have a couple other parents that are really good with helping them, including my mom too. She's a good help, but there's some parents that they just help us, and that's awesome. I'm glad that we have them.
What can you tell our viewers what it is that you're trying to do? What is it that right now
To just really take us as a positive image and not trying to put any kids in any harm or danger. But not only that, just, find your passion, do it. Don't have to be dancing, it can be anything. I think when you find your passion, it keeps you out of a lot of trouble. And use it as an outlet. Try not to let the worst get the best of you, I would say. I always tell the kids, if you, people that are, discriminating, because we've had that. We've had people say bad things about us. We've dealt with that. So it's we always just say, if you really love something, you shouldn't care what anybody says.
Right.
And I always use that because I deal with, even now today, that people will say things about me, and it's just really not, it don't bother me. It really don't. I love it too much to care what anybody says.
right?
So it doesn't stop me, it doesn't hurt me or anything. I just want kids to see that more, because I think a lot of them get really hurt. That bullying is a really bad thing too. So it's kind of not really caring what they say.
Right. That was something else as far as bullying, but
Yeah.
but certainly you've said a lot.
Definitely. I think honestly, if we get this to get bigger and bigger, definitely we'll definitely probably turn it into full time, and just start a bit just as being a business and doing it more and more and more things and getting more out there. We'll honestly get it bigger, but right now we're working, that's just to help us out with bills and stuff. But we're at the same time still trying to do what we love to do.
Well, I think you both shared a lot as far as our viewers and some of the challenges that you face and where you guys started from and where you're at now. I mean, you still have a lot of life to live, and a lot of goals to be met, a lot of failures just part of life. But the bottom line is that you're here for the kids, and you care a lot about what's happening on the reservation, on the Tohono O'odham Nation, and probably, as you get exposed more off the reservation, that you can give that positive image. Like you said, you guys are positive role models that we have very few of that can actually, do it as far as dancing. And sometimes it's more verbal. But if you can do it to dance and kids see that and you can interact and talk to them and they finally open up to you, that I think that says a lot for both of you. So.
Yeah. And we're always looking for more kids. We have 14 right now.
16. Oh, yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah,
14, but if this goes to like 20, so however much, we can always split them up. We actually, because we're only working with probably like 6 kids, and then we end up getting more and more. So what we were gonna do is we were just gonna, if we end up getting a lot, we're just gonna make them into split them into ages.
Divisions.
Yeah, have an adult division and have kids, I don't know, really young, toddlers, and then we'll have our teens. So we're just gonna do it like that, and that way we can split them. And I think that's just how it's gonna go. But right now we're still a small group, even though we have 14 kids. We're just keeping them all together.
So in closing, so you have a name now?
Yes. It's actually The Royalty.
The Royalties?
Yeah, The Royalty.
Royalty.
Yeah.
Or Royalty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and our signature. This is our signature.
Okay. All right, well, I want to thank both of you for joining or doing this interview.
Yes.
It's great, and I hope our viewers now kind of have an understanding of what the arts does. I always love the arts of it. I love music, and I love the arts of what these kids are doing or dancing. So there should be more of this, but I'm glad these 2 young adults, these 2 of them are doing it.
Yeah.
So, but I want to thank our viewers for joining us. I know it's late in the year, but it's the beginning of many 4 shows. So, like I mentioned from the beginning, I bring you this human interest story. I think it's a great story. When I first met these young adults, they were kids back then, or young teenagers back then, and you hear their story. So they do love kids, and they want to do a lot more in helping in that area. So again, we wish you a good night or a good day or good afternoon, and we'll see you again in our next segment. Thank you.